In this video, we'll be taking a look at the code that is in exercise 4.1 at the end of chapter 4. In a separate video, I'll go through the code step by step so we can see what it does. The purpose of this video is just to talk about terminology from the chapter. So first of all, something that we've been using already a lot is this thing, which is the main method. And the reason why it's called the main method, I'll just write that over here. This is the main method. Is because a method is, the definition of a method is just a collection of Java code, to be super simple here, that is encapsulated or packaged up into a specific area of the code. It's given a name, and then it's surrounded by curly brackets that denote the start and the end of this bunch of code, to use totally non-technical terms. Now, this is the if this whole thing is the main method, this is the beginning of the body of the main method. Sorry about my sloppy writing. This is the end of the body of the method. And then you can probably tell at this point that the reason why we call it the main method is because that's what we've named it. This item is the method name. So when you're first starting to look at Java, or really any programming language, sometimes it's difficult to figure out what you're looking at, what is what. And you know, some languages like German, for example, it's like really easy to know what the vowels are because they're all capitalized. So I want to give you some rules of thumb that will make it easy for you to look at a bunch of code and figure out what are these things. So one of them is parentheses. So often when you see parentheses, you're going to be dealing with a method, and usually, there's a couple exceptions, but usually when you see a set of parentheses, like here's a beginning parenthesis and here's an ending parenthesis, just before those parentheses is usually the method name. So if you want to have a quick rule of thumb to figure out to find the methods, you can pretty much look through and find the parentheses. Here's one set, another set, and then the method name is going to be before them. So I'm just going to circle all the method names by looking for the parentheses and then circling the name that comes before them. We've seen, the only thing that I think that we've seen so far where this rule of thumb doesn't work is casting, like when you put the word double in parentheses to change something into a double. That is about the only thing so far that this doesn't work for, though. So if I go and look for all the parentheses, I know that I can find the names of methods to the left of them. Okay, think that every single one of the things that I have circled is the name of a method. Now, one thing that we'll get to in the next video is some of these just have the name and parentheses and a semicolon, and some of these have a lot more complicated stuff going on. And so in the next video, we'll talk about the differences in method definitions and calls. For now, this is how you find the name.